What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. I'm recording my 5th or 6th video of the day here. By the time you see this video, you will already have seen that I just did a 5 players that need to impress on the Steelers offense in 2025. I'm breaking down 5 players on offense and 5 players on defense. Not necessarily that are fighting for their jobs. Some of them are, some are not. Not guys that are necessarily on the roster bubble that could be cut, but 5 guys who are kind of playing for their future, playing for a starting spot or playing for a roster spot, or playing to stay on the team, or playing to stay higher in the depth chart over competition, stuff like that. 5 guys who are due for a breakout and due to separate themselves after a couple years of chances or some kind of twist of fate, right? I just did the 5 offensive players. If you want to check that out, by the time this is up, that'll already be up on the channel. Go check that out. I just did my Steelers quarterback and secondary rooms, comparing this year's quarterback room to last year's, and as well as the secondary. Go check those out, and I tell you guys whether they are better, worse, or the same as last year. But today I want to quickly do, in descending order from 5 to number 1, from least important to most important, 5 guys who are kind of needing to have a big season this year and really impress to kind of keep themselves either on the roster or in the starting spot or staving off competition for their spots. So number 5, kind of the least important that they stand out this season, but still on the list, still important, is Keanu Benton. So Keanu Benton was drafted 2 years ago out of Wisconsin to kind of be the pure nose tackle, big Casey Hampton kind of guy who can get to the quarterback occasionally, be a run stuffer. We have not had a dominant one since Javon Hargrave, and that's a really important part of the defense. You see how Philadelphia has helped lock up their championship with a nose tackle. Pittsburgh looking to do the same thing. Drafted Keanu Benton. It looks like he's got the technique and the athleticism to play on the outside. I was hoping in drafting Derek Harmon this year out of Oregon that they would move Harmon inside and Benton to the outside, let him play end along with Cam Hayward, and kind of see what he could do on the outside. It seems like, even though Harmon seems like the wider player and the bigger player that at least plays like a bigger framed guy, I don't know their exact comparative weights, but it seems like they're going to keep Harmon on the outside with Cam Hayward and make Benton stay on the inside, which I think is what they were trying to avoid doing. I don't know why, but it seems like they're putting Harmon at end and keeping Benton at tackle. So Benton at D-tackle needs to make more plays. Now, he's been pretty consistent. He's stayed pretty healthy. He's been a solid player. He has definitely not been somebody who's on the verge of losing his job or anything like that. If he moves to the outside, he's going to be a starter on the outside, especially with Cam Hayward probably going to retire after this season. He's probably got 1 year left. I've been saying this for years, but either way, Benton has got a starting spot on this team somewhere, right? And he's certainly got the talent. But over the past 2 years, he's got 8 pass deflections. That's a big thing. He had, I think, 6 last year. I think he might have had... Yeah, he's got 8 total pass deflections, at least 6 last year. That's kind of been a staple of him. Knocking balls down, batting balls to the line of scrimmage. That is a Pittsburgh staple. Cam Hayward does it as well. But only 2 sacks the past 2 seasons. 1 in his rookie year and 1 last year. He's got to get those sack numbers up, and he's got to get those tackles for a loss numbers up. More effective in the run game and in the chasing the quarterback game. Being a sack guy is not super important as the D tackle, but you still want to get, 6 to 8 would be a really effective number for that position, but 1 seems like a little bit too small of a number. So I like Keanu Benton. He's going to be a starter regardless. I'd rather see him at the end spot, but it looks like he's going to stay a tackle. And with the amount of depth we have on the D line, with the amount of guys back there, we just drafted Harmon as a first-round pick. We just drafted Y.A. Black, who looks like a monster, who's going to play D-tackle for us as a backup. We have Loudermilk, who can kind of play either spot. We have DeMarvin Leal we're trying to find a spot for all over the field somewhere. He's in a contract year. You got Logan Lee, who was a late draft pick last year. You got they brought over, I think, one of the Green Bay Packers. Was it a Packer? They signed a free agent this year. So you got about 7 or 8 guys fighting for 5 spots, maybe 5 or 6 spots. You got a bunch of guys fighting for spots. So there are guys hungry behind Benton who are looking to make an impact, which is why I think he's on this list. Number 4, Juan Thornhill. He is our new, I always confuse the free and strong positions, but Thornhill was brought in to be a new safety. He was going to kind of be the third safety and be the rotational guy playing in the spot that DeMonte KZ played in last year. Pittsburgh likes their 3 safety looks. But after the trade away of Minkah Fitzpatrick and still trying to figure out where Jalen Ramsey fits in, Juan Thornhill is going to be a big piece to this team. Veteran guy who's played 6 seasons. He's got 8 picks in 6 years, played 4 years for Kansas City and 2 years for Cleveland. But the last 2 years in Cleveland, his tackles are a bit down, and he's got no interceptions in the past 2 seasons. So, proven veteran guy, solid player, can make turnovers, can play on good teams, but has he kind of fallen off a little bit? And the point is going to be now, with him moving in suddenly to a starting safety spot, opposite of Deshaun Elliott, is he good enough to kind of be the full-time starter and carry the load? How big of a drop-off for Minkah Fitzpatrick is he? And that necessitates now, do you try to hope for a Sebastian Castro to come in and do more from camp, the undrafted rookie that I like a lot? Do you move Jalen Ramsey up to safety, and how often do you do it? How often do you move him? How often do you have 3 corners on the field? What we do in the cornerback room and where specifically Jalen Ramsey is going to line up really kind of determines what Juan Thornhill does. Not only is he coming in as a veteran trying to prove himself after kind of 2 down years in Cleveland, but in his 7th season now, can he still be a full-time starter and be effective in the league? Or if he's not good enough to carry the team, do they have to move Jalen Ramsey over to safety? So their alignments of how they're going to play corner and safety on this team next year, or this coming season, are super, super important, and Juan Thornhill is going to dictate that. If he comes out and plays very, very well, and he is a very solid starting safety who can get a few turnovers and a few tackles in the backfield and things like that, blitzing off the edge, then Jalen Ramsey can stay at corner, and they can figure out if they want to move Ramsey into the slot or keep Ramsey outside and move Slay into the slot, and how much base defense they want to play versus, nickel and dime stuff. If Thornhill's not very good and they have to move Ramsey around, that's going to change the alignment. So this is going to be interesting for Juan Thornhill. Either way, he's got a spot on the team. It's just, is he going to be a full-time starter or a third rotational piece back and forth with Ramsey? Number 3, Cole Holcomb. Very interesting. Cole Holcomb came in with us in 2023, signed, I think, a 3-year deal with us. Came in, played 8 games in his first season, and looked really productive in those 8 games. He is a strong, athletic, very, very fast sideline to sideline, quick speed inside linebacker who's known for coverage, can make a lot of tackles, has been a 100-plus tackle guy many times in the league, and then got hurt. And he came off an injury, I think, was he in Washington before this? Came off an injury, so got injured here. And now the question is, did Peyton Wilson fully usurp him and take his full-time spot? You've got your 2 starters now, in your veteran Patrick Queen and your second-year player now who came in with a very solid rookie season in Peyton Wilson, who plays similar to Cole Holcomb. But Holcomb is still a tackling machine who can cover and is a very good third inside linebacker. Now, some people are saying he is just going to be a very good backup. Some are saying he could be good enough to be the starter if he's healthy. His health is going to be the question. But when he came in and played 8 games for us in 2023, he got 54 tackles and 2 forced fumbles in that time. So a very productive player who fills the stat sheet and can do a lot of things. Again, his question is going to be, is he healthy enough, or is he going to be washed up and get hurt again and be done? But he took a restructuring on his deal, took less money to stay here in Pittsburgh, and I'm really curious to see where he fits in. Could you do kind of a 3 inside linebacker rotation? Do you take out Peyton Wilson on some downs for experience factor and keep Patrick Queen in with him? Do you take out Queen and do a Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, 2 speedy coverage guys against certain passing teams with good third receivers or good tight ends? Do you do a coverage base as an inside linebacker team? Cole Holcomb's health, much like Juan Thornhill, if Cole Holcomb is very good and you can afford to mix and match like that, you can change your looks and tailor your lineups to the teams you're playing against. If Holcomb gets injured or he's not very good, you don't have a lot of depth at the inside linebacker spot, and you've got to kind of stick to the 2 guys you have. So his health makes a big difference. Number 2, the last 2 guys are cornerbacks. Corner is one of the most divisive spots we have on the field this year. Number 2 is Corey Trice. You guys know I've been a Corey Trice guy since he got drafted as a 7th-round pick. I had a 4th-round grade on him when he got drafted. He got drafted as a 7th-round pick just because of injury. Had played his full senior season, came out and looked every bit as big and physical and impressive as Joey Porter Jr. as a 2nd-round pick did 2 years ago. Came in, really impressed in camp, very much like Calvin Austin in his season. Came out and looked every bit as good as JPJ, looked like he could be a starter, and we could have found our 2 rookie physical big guys, and then Trice got hurt before he could ever play a down. So never got to play in his rookie season. Came out last year, played I think in 6 or 7 games, only got 1 start. In that 1 start, he got an interception. So looked really, really good early in the season. Had, I think, 1 or 2 pass deflections, got an interception, did come in a little more toward the end of the year, played against very dominant guys like Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown, and he got torched by those guys, playing with other backups around him against really, really elite wide receivers. So some good and some bad there. Trice, again, has the pedigree. He's still young. He's fast. He's strong. We got him for a steal. He's on a rookie contract. I think he makes this team. These top 2 guys I'm talking about now are fighting for roster spots. They could be potentially rotation guys that play next season, or they could be entirely cut and go somewhere else. They're playing for their jobs because we got a bunch of other guys. Corey Trice was a clear number 3 outside corner, in my opinion. But now with the additions of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, now Trice, being a physical outside corner, is fighting for his life. So he needs to come in and make an impact in camp and play well in preseason to cement his spot on this team and see if he can still get in there. If they move Ramsey around a lot and you need more base corners, or if there's any injuries, you want to see Trice out there playing well. So very interesting what happens to him this season. And number 1, Pittsburgh Steelers, who need to impress in 2025, especially in camp and preseason, to cement their roster spots. And number 1 is no surprise. I'm talking corner again. I'm talking about a guy I've talked about several times on this channel, Beanie Bishop. Beanie Bishop was a guy that came in as an undrafted free agent, much like Sebastian Castro this year, a guy out of West Virginia that I had a mid-round draft grade on. How he fell to us undrafted, I had no idea. I felt like he fit our system in spite of being undersized. Came in, was the camp darling, came in and played pretty well in preseason, wound up being the de facto slot corner last year because we had nobody, because we had signed Cam Sutton, but he was out on suspension. Bishop came in, started a little slow, started to make an impact toward the end of his run, got benched when Cam Sutton came back. Cam Sutton was terrible. He has since been gone from the team. He's no longer here. Bishop came back in and got made a few big plays. Played in most games last year, but got 6 starts. In Beanie Bishop's 6 starts, 4 interceptions, a half sack, and a fumble recovery. Again, 6 starts, 4 interceptions, half sack, fumble recovery. Some of those starts are shaded by the fact that he was a slot corner. But again, for an undersized guy, and again, he wasn't always in the best spots. He wasn't always consistent. But he got better as the year went on. And again, for 5 turnovers and a half sack and 6 starts, that's pretty impressive. Got a few in the Baltimore game, got a few in clutch time. I like enough of what I saw from Beanie Bishop for him to be out there. I will say this, it seems like Pittsburgh didn't. Pittsburgh went and brought in Brandon, I always forget his last name, the guy from the Jets who plays slot corner as well. He can be an inside or outside, but they brought in a slot corner from the Jets who's got starting experience. They also brought in Sebastian Castro, who might be in the slot depending where they put him, undrafted free agent for him, and then also signed both Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, who play the outside. They're not inside guys, but they went out and, undrafted free agent, signed a free agent, and then signed Slay and traded for Ramsey. So that tells you how they feel about Beanie Bishop being the starting guy. They signed Sutton last year. That didn't work out. They signed Slay this year and then traded for Jalen Ramsey, who might play some slots. So that tells you Pittsburgh is not enthralled by Bishop. But again, for this small amount of starts and the value we got him for undrafted last year, he's made enough plays in enough big games to give me cause for pause, right? So we'll see where Beanie lands. He's another guy that could wind up, depending on where Ramsey goes and how they want to align their corner and safety room. Again, depending also on how guys like Juan Thornhill play and how much speed Ramsey's playing with and how guys like Trice do and who ends up on the roster. Bishop could be a guy that comes in and plays slot this year and is on the field quite a bit, or could be a guy who gets cut. And they say, well, we gave the guy a shot, he made a few plays, but he's undersized and he's not always in position, and he's not going to cost us anything to cut. He's going to wind up somewhere else if we do that. but it's going to be interesting to see where Beanie Bishop lies. So those are 5 guys on defense who I think really need to impress in camp and preseason and potentially regular season this year. Check out my offensive video and give me your comments down below about this video. What did you think of my list? What did you think of my order? Is there anybody I missed? And put your list down below. Let's talk about my guys and put your guys down there as well. And I'll be bringing you guys more Steeler videos very soon. I'm going to talk next about players on the bubble who are fighting for their roster spots. Guys who may make the team and may not, depending how they do in position battles in this preseason. Take care. See you guys soon.